Hi everybody, this is Lisa Scott and welcome to my channel Permission to Live in the End with Lisa Scott. And I cannot believe that I haven't shared this story sooner on this channel, which in my opinion is one of the most ultimate imagination, I'll call it an imagination hack that I have experienced at least recently. And I'm going to jump right into this story where ultimately I had the opportunity to go back and visit my younger self. And before I give too much away, I'm just going to jump right into the story. So one evening in my bedroom, as you know, my favorite space to be in, as I was about to, while I was sleeping, obviously, I was working something out within my subconscious for this event to begin to take place. At least that's how I process the information. All of a sudden, while I was sleeping, I became consciously aware of an opportunity that was presenting itself for me to go back and visit younger aspects of myself where some type of scenario, event, circumstance had occurred that I was still walking around with energetically on the inside. Now, I was not consciously aware of this. So when I was sleeping and it rose up, this opportunity, I was like, oh my goodness. And how the opportunity arose was I started to see imagery in my mind's eye of different scenarios that had taken place in my life when I was younger. And it was as if I was being offered the ability to pick a space and time where something had occurred. And it came in the form of like a slideshow. So these images are going by me, and I was being urged or prompted to pick where did I want to go, and wherever I chose, I was going to have the opportunity to work something out. I didn't know what it was going to be, but it was like pick a scene, pick an image, pick a time frame, pick a space and time, and we're going to go there and we're going to work this out. So I happened upon, or I chose a particular space and time where I was at home as a very young girl. I don't remember the age. And I was in my bedroom and I was looking out of a window and I was watching my mother get into the car and she was leaving to go somewhere. The image, it seemed like it was evening, so she could have been going to the store. I don't know where she was going at that particular moment in time, but I remember as a young girl just feeling very sad about her leaving. And the emotion that arose up inside of me was that I didn't want her to leave. And what stood out was that I never told her that I didn't want her to leave at that moment in time. So there was this overwhelming emotion of just sadness and not wanting my mother to leave and not telling her that I didn't want her to leave. So this was the opportunity that had arose and presented itself for me to be able to work out that I had no idea I was carrying around subconsciously. So my current self, even though I was sleeping and I was looking at myself over at the window, staring out the window, and I could feel the sadness, I was able to walk up to myself and I stood next to her, and I was prompted to not just go up to her and like bulldoze the scenario and think I knew it all about what was going to happen, but to not touch little Lisa, but to ask her permission if I was able to touch her or able to talk to her. And she actually turned toward me and gave me her permission for me to hug her. And as I began to hug little Lisa, there was a transference of energy. The first transference of energy was all of the sadness that I started to feel from little Lisa. And as I'm hugging little Lisa and I'm feeling how overwhelmingly sad Lisa was, that transference of energy was teaching me what I now, in my current state of being, had the opportunity to give back to little Lisa that she needed at that space and time when she were her younger self, when I were my younger self. So remember, to this point, I was sleeping. So as I began to hug Lisa, little Lisa, and the transference of energy started to happen, and I was feeling the overwhelming emotion of little Lisa's state of being, it jolted me awake. And I sat up in my bed and I actually was hugging myself and loving on little Lisa and rocking and hugging and holding her and telling her how much I loved her and telling her she was not alone and telling her that her feelings were important. Just every piece of information that she was transferring to me energetically, I was able to give to her at that moment in time. But I was jolted awake, and I just allowed myself to be in that space as I cried and I gave back to little Lisa what she needed. And what began to happen when I started to give little Lisa back what she needed at that time, when I were that little girl who needed what she needed, is little Lisa just broke up inside. She broke up into what felt like billions of pieces into the atmosphere. She broke up into billions of pieces into the atmosphere, and then swoosh, integrated back inside of my body. And I could feel this enormous weight just lift off of me as little Lisa broke up and, transferred or integrated back inside of my body. And then the imagery that had been shown to me in the very beginning, those scenes, or that particular scene, it began to break up in my mind's eye like a computer glitch. Like if you've ever watched a movie and a computer starts to glitch, the imagery started to glitch just like that. And then it was gone. This whole thing was gone. But the even more amazing part that happened even after the whole process took place was that when I searched myself, first of all, I didn't know I was carrying around this energy up until that point. I had no idea I was carrying around that energy until it was absent from my body. Because of the absence, I could feel the absence of that energy inside of my body. And whenever I would go to meditate at that time, I would have this left shoulder pain that I would have to prop my arm up to have that pain alleviate. Well, that pain, when I went to do a meditation after this whole event took place, was gone. Okay? But the other thing that happened was, with the absence of the energy that I had been holding on to, that I was not aware of, with that absence of energy, what I noticed was that when I searched myself for any of the subtle storylines that were playing themselves over and over again in my mind, so those storylines are very, very subtle, but they were brought to the forefront of my awareness. And I realized that every storyline that I had ever created as a result of that particular day, that particular emotional state of being, every storyline I had ever created from that moment up to today was completely gone. Completely gone. No more stories related to that particular scenario. So I said, oh my goodness. So an entire storyline was completely gone and completely healed. So I just wanted to stop by and share this story with everyone, because although I have done this type of work before in my own work as a metaphysician, I had never before experienced anything like that before. And this channel is dedicated or inspired by Neville Goddard, who talks about imagination. And I just wanted to share how imagination assisted me to be able to go back and talk to my younger self and heal an entire storyline that I didn't even know was playing itself over and over again up until my current self, my present state of being, my present tense me. I had no idea these storylines existed until they were gone. I had no idea that so much energy existed regarding that moment that the thoughts, the energy, the feelings had been generated. And I want to remind us also that we are the generators, that my ability to go back and talk to my younger self, it taught me that these aspects of self, my younger self, even though energetically nothing dies, this is how I had the opportunity to go back and speak to my younger self, because energy doesn't die. It transforms, it transmutes, it does all kinds of incredible things to assist us on our journeys in life. And I'll stop here because I don't want to, prolong, but I just want to remind everyone that imagination is a powerful thing. And we can utilize imagination to break down walls, barriers, to collapse time, because that's what I felt like happened with me in this particular scenario. So I'm glad that you are here. I thank you for stopping by my channel, Permission to Live in the End. I welcome your comments. Like this video, share it with someone you love, and do not forget to hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you on the next video.